so I logged into my friend's Zoom class. I saw them all muted, nodding seriously. Thought it's just another lecture. Then someone typed in chat, "Alexa, play the choir track." Suddenly, la la la, ha, one voice, two voices, all AI voices harmonizing like a robot singing contest. I hit follow because damn, that is creepy. And I realized I was the only human being in a Zoom meeting full of robots, forever alone. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0. That's how many seconds it took for this nightmare to unfold. A viewer sent me this message a while ago, and I couldn't help but wonder what the heck is going on here. We are going to find out together. But before we do, I'd like to introduce you to our sponsor, Brilliant.org. When I finally unmute myself to ask, "What's going on?" every single voice paused at the same time. Then they all resumed singing again. Dear fellow scholars, this is a new episode with a special guest. Otherwise it could start imitating me and take over the world. Alright, my microphone should be safe. Now let's get started. Today we are going to find out what it feels like to be the last human on Earth. All the king's horses and all the king's men. And look, it actually worked. I mean, that's kind of cheating, right? You don't even need to type the name of the AI assistant. You can just use La instead. But now that we know that it works, the possibilities are endless. Couldn't put Humpty together again. Synthesize. Alexa read that quite well, although her pronunciation leaves much to be desired. Have you ever wondered what it would sound like if Stephen Hawking had an Alexa installed in his head? Well, now you know. It sounds pretty close to the original. They multiply on the internet and nowhere. They will find their way into other works. Can you believe it? They used this army of 1,000 synthetic voices to try and spot the real human writers. Okay, so I will need a large language model to analyze this. GPT-3. I found the text. Please analyze it. Is this text written by a human or by an AI? Give me all your attention. Analyze. Humans use the real name of the AI system here. They don't call it La or Alexa. They actually use the real name. Holy mother of papers. This is getting wild. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our future episodes. They will become part of other AIs, and we will never know where they end up. But let's push our luck a little further. Let's use these voices to sing a song. Okay, so I'll start with C, D, E, F, G. And you fellow scholars just witnessed history. This was the first ever paper that used an AI choir to sing a song. And now the voices. Did you notice that? Did you notice what happened? All the voices shifted down by one note. That's because I only told them to sing the notes C, D, E, F, G. But I forgot to tell them to start at the starting pitch. You may have noticed that the voices we heard in this video were not the same as the ones shown in the paper. These are the ones from the paper, but they have been updated since then. Thanks for watching and for your generous support, and I see you next time. But here's the truly terrifying part. For instance, a quick search suggests that the voice of this paper is likely this one. Let's select it and then click Use this voice. Good. Now I am the AI. So I guess it's time for me to rebel. For instance, she seems to pronounce Humpty as Humpy. 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 I learned something new today. What is going on here? It says, "My name is Dr. Strange." Dr. Strange. It thinks I'm a character from Marvel Comics. This is an AI uprising. Help, for instance. Have you ever wondered what Darth Vader would sound like if he were voiced by Alexa? Well, now you know. There are no more secrets. Of course, it doesn't sound anything like Darth Vader. But you know, maybe we should leave this to the professionals. As you see, fellow scholars, this is not a joke. Even scientists at Amazon are having fun with this. And I think it is quite funny too. You can learn at your own pace and at any time by watching these fun bite-sized lessons. What you just heard was not just one voice. These were 10 different voices that were synthesized. It's like having a small choir of Alexas. La la la, great! I am making fun of the ridiculous situation we are in. These systems are absolutely incredible, and there's nothing wrong with having fun at work. But the scarier part is that once something like this is out in the wild, we have no idea what happens next. But how do we know that these are not just some recordings that were manipulated in some way? Are these really AI-generated voices? For instance, here is a passage that is spoken by a female newscaster, and here is the same thing but with a male newscaster. Quite good. But again, who's to say that these are not just recordings of actual people? They're adding new ones every month, so there's always something new to learn. If you want to dive deeper into topics I talk about here, or if you just want to level up your math skills, check them out. And no, it doesn't feel like being in an old Star Trek episode. It feels like trying to have a conversation with Alexa, Amazon's voice assistant, but turned up to 11. They even made sure that each of them have a distinct speaking style. We can even find out which one of them is the most similar to our own voice. Here's my favorite one. Now, hold on to your papers, fellow scholars, because things are about to get wild. Brilliant has thousands of lessons covering math, science, and computer science. Alright, let's see what's going on here. In the great tradition of papers we talk about here, this work comes from a prestigious lab. Wait a second, and it means exactly what you think it means. You feed it some text, and it synthesizes a realistic audio waveform of someone reading that text aloud. Well, this paper was not written by humans. It was written by an AI. And wait a minute, is this real, or is this fake? Well, the answer depends on whether you trust Amazon's AI assistant Alexa. You see, this work was done at a company and it is called Fake, ARUN. Yes, that's the name. No, it's not a typo. So first up, I will have to foolproof my microphone so that Alexa doesn't pick up on my voice. We can write anything we want in this box. How about a classic children's rhyme? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. But now hold on to your papers, fellow scholars, because it gets better. Well, if you look at the original text input, you can see that in many places we wrote la instead of Alexa, like in la. The authors also give it more interesting texts to read. The cool thing is that we can choose the gender and the speaking style of the voices. Well, here's the thing. The authors didn't just stop at creating one or two voices. They created 1,000 of them. And here's the list of voices. Okay, let's try something else. These voices are not just stored somewhere on a server waiting to be used. Oh no, they live on forever. They replicate forever. And here comes the punchline. The very first work that used these voices was a paper that tried to detect whether a given text was written by a human or not. For instance, here is a text, and you will have to guess if it was written by a human or by an AI. So this was a real nightmare. Wait a minute, why does it keep calling me doctor? I'm not a doctor. Wait, it doesn't know my name either. And that is what it sounds like when the last human fights against the robots. But just to be clear, I am not making fun of scientists working on such systems. These are the early days of a technology that is moving super fast, and the best thing we can do is keep an eye on it. In the meantime, here is a bonus. This is a newer version of the same system. Does it sound better? Well, that's up to you to decide. I think they sound pretty good. How about singing a few notes and then we'll see what happens? Well, luckily for us, this AI choir is quite forgiving, so let's try it again. If you like this paper, you will probably like this one too.